Part 1. A single dad joked, "I'll marry you." Ethan Carter used to believe life would slow down once he figured things out. It never did. At 34, his days were measured in school drop-offs, overtime shifts, and the constant mental math of bills versus groceries. His wife had passed away 4 years earlier, sudden, unfair, and final in the way only real loss could be. Since then, life hadn't stopped, it had simply demanded more from him with less to give back. Every morning, Ethan woke up before the alarm, already tired. That Tuesday was no different. Lily overslept. Her shoes were missing. The lunch he packed was still sitting on the counter. By the time they made it to school, his shirt had a juice stain, and Lily was halfway through a dramatic explanation of why it definitely wasn't her fault. "You're smiling," Lily said suspiciously as he buckled her seatbelt. "Am I?" "Yeah, that's the, I didn't sleep enough but I'm pretending I'm fine, smile." He laughed. "You sound like someone who lives with me." After work, exhaustion hit him like a wall. He picked Lily up, stopped by the grocery store, then detoured to the neighborhood cafe, less for the coffee, more for 5 quiet minutes where someone else made decisions. The place was busy. Parents, students, the usual after-school chaos. Ethan shifted the grocery bag on his shoulder while Lily clung to his hand, humming to herself. Then came the question. "Daddy," Lily said, loudly and without warning, "why don't you have a wife like Emma's dad?" The line went silent in that specific, humiliating way. Ethan closed his eyes for half a second. "Lily, I mean," she continued thoughtfully, "Emma's mom packs snacks and her dad picks her up. You only do the dad part." A soft laugh came from behind the counter. Ethan looked up. The barista had kind eyes, the kind that didn't judge but noticed. She wasn't trying to hide her smile, and somehow that made it easier. "Kids have great timing," she said gently. Ethan sighed. "They're ruthless." She glanced at Lily. "Is that true?" Lily nodded. "I'm very honest." The barista grinned. "That's a superpower." Her name tag read Maya. Ethan cleared his throat. Large coffee. Black, please." "Coming right up," Maya said. Then, quieter, "Single dad." "Yeah," he admitted. "Just me and this tiny CEO." "I'm not tiny," Lily protested. Maya leaned forward conspiratorially. "I believe you." Something about the exchange felt easy. No pity. No awkward pause. Just a moment where Ethan wasn't the widower or the struggling dad, just a guy ordering coffee. As Maya handed him the cup, she said, "You're doing both parts, by the way. That counts extra." Ethan blinked. "What?" "The mom part," she said. "Showing up. Being there. That's not automatic." He hadn't realized how much he needed to hear that. "Thanks," he said quietly. Lily tugged his sleeve again. "Daddy, you didn't answer." Ethan laughed nervously. "Answer what?" "Why you don't have a wife." Maya raised an eyebrow, clearly entertained now. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. "Because life got complicated." Lily considered this. "You should get one." Maya bit her lip to keep from laughing. Ethan sighed. "Kid, that's not how it works." "Why not?" Before he could stop himself, he said, "Because I don't have time to date. Or mess things up. Or scare someone off." Maya tilted her head. What if someone didn't scare easily? The words hung there longer than they should have. Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. "At this point, if someone showed up and said they'd stay, I'd probably marry them." He meant it as a joke. "Mostly." Maya laughed softly. "Wow. Straight to marriage. Efficiency," he said. "Single dad shortcut." She crossed her arms, pretending to think. "So you're saying if I said, I'll stay, you'd just propose?" Ethan raised his hands. "Hypothetically. In a universe where I don't spill coffee on myself twice a week." Lily gasped. "Daddy, you can marry her." Ethan nearly choked. "Okay," Maya said, laughing now. "I think that's my cue." He felt his face heat up. "Sorry. She's very decisive." Maya smiled, softer this time. "She knows what she wants." Her coworker called her name, breaking the moment. As Ethan turned to leave, Maya added, "Hey, single dad." He looked back. "If you ever want to practice that proposal," she said lightly, "same time tomorrow." He smiled all the way home. That night, after Lily fell asleep clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit, Ethan sat alone on the couch. The apartment was quiet in the way that made thoughts louder. He replayed the interaction without meaning to. The way Maya had looked at him, not with sympathy, not with curiosity, but with something warmer. Something open. It was just flirting, he told himself. Harmless. Still, when his phone buzzed at 9:47 p.m., his heart jumped. Unknown number. This is going to sound crazy. Ethan frowned. Then his phone lit up again. It's Maya. Cafe girl. He sat up straighter. And for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel tired. Part 2. Lines that shouldn't blur. The room felt smaller after my answer. I can't look away. The words hung between us, too honest, too reckless. Her smile froze for half a second before softening, like she wasn't sure whether to step back or lean in. The office lights reflected in the glass wall behind her, turning the city outside into a blur of golden shadow. She cleared her throat. You always say the boldest things, she said lightly, but her fingers tightened around the fabric of the dress. I say what I see, I replied. That was the problem. She wasn't just anyone. She was the CEO, the woman whose signature decided promotions, salaries, careers. And I was the employee who had stayed late one too many nights, whose desk sat just outside her office, who knew the sound of her heels on marble better than my own alarm clock. Yet in that moment, none of that existed. She turned toward the mirror again, smoothing the dress down her sides. This dinner matters, she said. Investors, board members, people who already think I don't belong here. I stepped closer before I realized I was moving. You belong in every room you walk into. Her eyes met mine in the mirror. Not CEO eyes. Not guarded, polished confidence. Just, her. You don't talk to me like everyone else, she said quietly. Because you're not like everyone else. Silence stretched, dangerous, electric. Then she laughed softly and shook her head. You should go home. It's late. That was the dismissal. Gentle. Professional. But as I turned to leave, she spoke again. Wait. I stopped. Do you think, she began, then hesitated, that sometimes we hide behind titles because it's safer than being seen? I didn't turn around. If I did, I wasn't sure I'd be able to stop myself from saying everything I'd buried for months. Yes, I said. All the time. Another pause. You can go now, she said. I left, but the air between us followed me all the way to the elevator. The next morning, everything was different. Not on the surface. Emails still came in. Meetings still started on time. Her voice during the executive briefing was steady, commanding, untouchable. But every time her gaze flicked toward me, even for a second, I felt it. The unspoken. The question neither of us dared to ask. At noon, an unexpected calendar invite popped up. Private meeting 1:30 p.m. No agenda. My pulse thudded in my ears. At 1:29, I stood outside her office door. At 1:30 exactly, it opened. Come in, she said. The door closed behind me with a quiet click that sounded far too final. She didn't sit behind her desk this time. Instead, she leaned against it, arms crossed, not defensive, but braced. We need to talk about last night, she said. I nodded. Yes. She exhaled slowly. What you said crossed a line. My chest tightened. I know. But, she continued, it also told me something I've been trying not to see. I looked up. You look at me like I'm a person, she said. Not a role. My voice was barely audible. Because you are. Her composure cracked, not dramatically, just enough. She turned away, staring out the window at the city she ruled during the day and felt alone in at night. I worked too hard to get here, she said. I can't afford mistakes. I don't want to be one, I said. That made her turn back. You wouldn't be, she whispered. That's what scares me. The distance between us felt charged, dangerous. One step closer and everything could fall apart. Nothing has to happen, I said. I just needed you to know the truth. She studied me for a long moment. Then, slowly, she reached for the folder on her desk and slid it toward me. Temporary reassignment, she said. Different department. No direct reporting to me. I frowned. You're moving me. I'm protecting both of us, she said firmly. If anything ever happens, it can't start from a place of power imbalance. That word hit hard. Power. I realized then this wasn't a game to her. This wasn't flirtation born of boredom. This was someone who understood the cost of every choice. I didn't ask for this, I said. Neither did I, she replied softly. But here we are. I stood. Thank you for being honest. As I turned to leave, she said my name, not professionally this time. Personally. Don't disappear, she said. I won't, I promised. Weeks passed. The reassignment worked. On paper. In reality, we found each other in silences. In shared elevators. In late-night emails that were strictly professional, except for the pauses before sending, the things left unsaid. Then came the night everything changed. The board dinner ended late. Too late. As I packed up to leave, I saw her standing alone in the lobby, heels in hand, shoulders heavy with exhaustion. Car didn't show, she said when she saw me. I'll wait with you, I offered. She hesitated, then nodded. Outside, the city was quiet. Vulnerable. Like her. I hate nights like this, she admitted. When the applause fades. I looked at her, not the CEO, not the title. Then don't be alone tonight, I said gently. She met my gaze. Long. Careful. This is where it either stops, she said, or we choose each other, knowing the risks. My heart hammered. I choose you. Her breath caught. She stepped closer, not rushed, not reckless. Just honest. When her hand brushed mine, it felt inevitable. Not forbidden. Earned. And for the first time, she smiled without armor.